Everyone, Richard from Digital Foundry here. Now, I'm supposed to be on holiday at the moment, but I've been playing this Nier Automata demo, and I really wanted to put together a quick video about it. So yeah, essentially Platinum Games, one of the greatest developers working today, pretty much always concentrate on 60 FPS gameplay, and yeah, they're responsible for Nier Automata here. And yeah, I thought I'd give it a go on both PS4 and PS4 Pro, and here we are dual wielding, which is the system where we use one controller to operate both PlayStations simultaneously, and as you can see here, we're desyncing pretty quickly owing to gameplay logic, but we do get some really interesting shots here. And one thing you'll notice straight away is that resolution on the base PlayStation 4 is quite a bit lower than it is on the PlayStation 4 Pro here. Looks like 900p on the PlayStation 4 and full 1080p on the Pro, and yeah, be interested to see whether they actually deploy any higher resolution modes there for 4K screens. But right now we're looking at a kind of enhanced version for PlayStation 4 Pro owners here. So yeah, not only do we get full HD resolution, but we also get what looks like better anti-aliasing. So let's pause for a moment here and look at the rocks here. Now we've highlighted the areas of interest here. You'll note that on the standard PlayStation 4, jagged edges there on the rocks, which is quite interesting. There seems to be no anti-aliasing here at all, and if we look at the Pro side, edges seem to be smoothed off, and it seems to be about more than just the resolution there. Looks like some kind of post-process filter. In terms of some of the more complex anti-aliasing solutions used by developers right now, it's not particularly sophisticated, but it's clearly better than nothing at all, which is what we get on the standard PlayStation 4. Let's take a look at those jaggies on the base PlayStation 4 there. Really not particularly impressive at all. I hope that Platinum do something about it for the final release of the game. I mean, it's still a really impressive looking title, and yeah, something which you can't really avoid in this particular clip. It is, of course, the fact that the Pro is running with much higher quality texture filtering. Take a look into the mid distance here, and you'll see that the texture quality is kind of a bit of a soupy mess on the base PlayStation 4. On the Pro, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's clearly a cut above. And we'll let the clip move on, and yeah, as we cross the bridge here, you'll note that the texture filtering quality is indeed significantly improved in motion. But, you know, as you can see, essentially more kind of extra refinement for PlayStation 4 Pro owners here. It's not actually a game-changing proposition. And as we move into the next clip here, we're going to pause at this point here, and you're going to note another PlayStation 4 Pro enhancement. You can see that we have per object motion blur there, and you can see it on the main character there. So yeah, another interesting layer of refinement added to the PlayStation 4 Pro version. So let's continue. Now it's interesting that the gameplay actually shifts between sort of traditional third-person action, and then you get these kind of side-on elements here where the camera motion is taken away from you, and it's mostly for kind of speedier traversal through the levels here. And yeah, interesting to note, of course, game logic is desyncing, and the joypad inputs, although they are identical between systems, the commands are actually producing different results according to context. And that's essentially enemy placement, I guess, at this point. So yeah, moving on, and yeah, kind of high contrast area here, and obviously image quality on the Pro isn't particularly impressive, but it's still a cut above the standard PlayStation 4 here, both in terms of resolution and anti-aliasing. Are they going to improve it for the final game? Well, bearing in mind that they are targeting 60 Hz here, that is a really difficult target at the best of times, so it may well be the case that this is going to be the best we're going to get. Overall, gameplay definitely feels a touch smoother on the PlayStation 4 Pro, but you know, the base PlayStation 4 still works out pretty well in the vast majority of gameplay areas in this particular demo, at least. Obviously, this is just a tiny sampler of the full game. But yeah, performance, well, let's take a look at that, shall we? So here's our first clip, the first mini boss, and yeah, just minor dips under 60 frames per second on the base PlayStation 4, nothing particularly to worry about, but obviously the Pro is completely rock solid in these instances. But yeah, you will note that as the boss is vanquished, we seem to be veering into 30 frames per second territory here, and what's happening at this point is that the game is shifting to pre-rendered video sequence. It's a bit of a shame that these aren't running at 60 Hz as well, because it's exceptionally jarring to move from silky smooth action to these these 30 FPS cinematics, not great at all. And it's interesting to note actually that the cinematics seem to be running at 900p, so during the pre-rendering phase they seem to have been run at the lower resolution. Hopefully there will be higher resolution versions in the final game for Pro owners. But now we're moving into a final boss battle, and you can see some interesting metrics here. Not only is the PlayStation 4 version struggling to hit 60 Hz consistently, the Pro version is as well, and you can see that they're really like for like in terms of the performance profile here. Slight Pro enhancement I'd say, but yeah, we're looking at mid-50s on both, to be honest. These games play virtually identical in this point at least. More set piece action here, and yeah, you know, suddenly, whoa, you know, at this point both versions are dipping under 50 frames per second. It's only fleetingly, and it's on a kind of non-playable moment, so I wasn't particularly upset by it. Okay, so this is the Nier Automata demo, out in early March, so I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, well, thanks a lot for your time. I hope you're having a great holiday too, and I will see you in 2017. Thanks for watching.